This session I was mostly dealing with kind of humbling weights in the sense that they were very, very light, but at the same time I'm dealing with a few injuries and I have to probably build something from the ground up, especially when it comes to the front squat. Now, about that, I was doing post reps. I did 3 sets of 7 each. So I was going up from the 5 that I did the previous time, and I was doing long poses. So 40 kilos, trying to get comfortable in the bottom position. Wanted to stay in there for a while, counting roughly to 5 and then pushing straight up. And supersetting with the usual hip flexor work. 2.5 kilos going up to 14 reps, and then I did 13, getting closer to those 15 and that nice 3 kilo dumbbell that I'm going to progress with. But talking about the front squats, which were the exercise that I really want to improve right now, the first few reps of each set were actually kind of enjoyable, at this weight at least, because it's not heavy for me, but it's enough to ease me into that deep bottom position and spend a few precious seconds there before the bar starts to become noticeable. I can hold my breath easily doing the first few reps, but I also feel that there are benefits in practicing breathing down in the hole, especially now that the weight isn't too heavy. But from rep 4 or 5 and on, it becomes extremely difficult to keep an upright torso, especially for me with my poor upper back mobility, and for the same amount of time, and it's that part of the set where I still work on the lower joint mobility, but it also becomes a really big challenge to my upper body. And I really have to focus on keeping the chest and shoulders open, the elbows and the head high, as the bar wants to curl them to the floor, especially if I am still breathing down there. Um, Even though I am kind of only at the beginning again, uh, I already like to think about ways to progress these. Now that I think I found a variation that allows me to practice these properly and maybe finally get some lasting gains on the movement. Now, the upper body part of the session was meant to revolve around some overhead presses and hopefully getting a few more reps with 30 kilos, but unfortunately, this was not the day. After the fourth rep, this is the fifth with 30 kilos, I felt too much of a pull in the shoulder. It was actually feeling painful in one of those two sticking points that I'm usually experiencing. So before 90 degrees at shoulder extension, and past that, halfway up the movement. And on that fifth rep, I could not go up to 90 degrees. And so I had to go back to a lighter weight where at least I could push a good amount of repetitions and pump some blood in that shoulder. So I went back to the bar and I was doing very high repetitions there. I went up to 20 with this set here. And none of those reps were giving me any discomfort other than the pump and the metabolites accumulating in there. It was unfortunate that I could not really progress much in terms of volume and at a higher intensity on the shoulder, but moving in a pain-free range of motion has to take precedence on my idea of a progression. Whenever I think that I can progress from on paper, the reality isn't always like that, and I need to see what's happening on the day and accommodate what I can when I can. Ciao.